Buenos dias and welcome back to another video, everybody. I hope that you and your family are staying safe and staying home when need be. All right, let's get into the video. Today we are talking about Luminar 3. Now, Luminar 4 has come out. It is a photo editing software, and it is kind of like the birth child of Photoshop and Lightroom. If they were to have a baby, you'd probably have Luminar 3. And I think Luminar 3 is a super powerful tool and photo editing software that anyone can use. And what's really cool about it, it's a one-time purchase with future updates with nothing more to buy. And that's what's cool about this piece of software. I do want to say that in no way, shape, or form is Luminar 3 sponsoring this video. I just think it's a great piece of software. All right, let's get into it. A couple years ago, my wife and I took a trip to the East Coast where we rented a car from our home base in South Carolina, where we do have a home, and we ventured off through West Virginia, up through Pennsylvania, up to New York, back down through the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and back home. And on this trip in 2018, I shot a multitude of photos, and they were shot between the Canon 70D and the Canon M50. So in this video, I'm not going to give you an exhaustive tour of Luminar 3, but what I am going to do is click a few buttons here and there and give you a general outline of what Luminar 3 can do and what it is capable of. So let's take a look down here. After you've loaded in some photos, you can load them in a variety of different ways up here in the left-hand corner. So if you come down here to the bottom of the screen, you see Luminar Looks. Go ahead and click on the up arrow toggle and you'll see the Luminar Looks collection. I've added a few collections such as Neon Tokyo and Dramatic Landscapes. However, you can click on any one of these and you'll notice that the bottom tray or the panel down below changes accordingly. So here I clicked on Street, and then I'll click on Landscapes, and it gives you a variety of different preset filter looks that you can select from. And this is a really powerful way to get started with a baseline look at any one of your images. So I'm gonna go ahead and stay here in landscape for this first image, and I'm gonna click on warm sunset. And you can see right away what it does to the image. And in fact, let's toggle on and off. There is the warm sunset off, and there it is back on. And it actually looks pretty good, and it's that simple. It can make an image look that good right away. So after you've selected a particular look, such as warm sunset, take a look at the right side of the panel over here. It has created a workspace with a bunch of different filters and panels. For example, raw develop is something that I actually inputted here under professional, but you can clear the workspace as well. But down below you have accent AI filter, you have LUT mapping, you have AI enhancer. Let me toggle that one back and forth. So that's the all sky enhancer. So it just works on the sky. It's working on nothing else. So it's pretty local just to the sky and not universal to the whole image. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back where it was. And then we have top and bottom lighting. What this deals with is just that. So if you work on the top slider, it's just going to affect the light on the top half of the image, and vice versa, the same for the bottom half of the light of the image. Let me play with that a little bit for you right there. See, that's just affecting the bottom half. And actually, I like this image fairly dark on the bottom half because that's the side that was naturally in shade, and that's really what I was seeing while I was there. And it was super bright into the background and the North Carolina forest. I'm gonna leave this image just as it is, but you can see the power of Luminar 3. It has a lot of different baseline looks that you can select from and then go from there. All right, I've cleared the workspace, and this is the next image I want to take a look at. I've actually done some stuff with this image in the past in Lightroom, and never have I been able to get it to where I've wanted it. So we're gonna have a little fun with it today. I'm gonna click on warm sunset. It's a little too punchy for my taste. So we're gonna bring the accent filter, the AI filter, down just a tad here, about 28. That's good for right now. What I would like to do is, you can see that the sun is coming in, or is peeking in from the left hand kind of top side of this image, and I'd like to have a little bit of fun with some of its filters here in Luminar 3. So I'm going to go down to the creative area here, the creative block, and I'm going to put some sun rays in. I like to have fun with these sun rays. You can move them around in your image. You can either move them around with the XY axis here on the right side of the panel, or you can click on Place Sun Center. Here you have the sun center. I'm gonna stick it up here, coming off the kind of the corner area, the top corner area of the image. Let me close the filters catalog. And then you can play with the Y axis. You can bring it up and down. So, but I'm gonna leave it right up there. It's actually in a good spot. And then you can work with the amount of sun rays, you know, how thick or how much there's actually going to be, the intensity of it. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. I don't need it to be that overpowering. Then you can see the look. You can play with the look a little bit. Again, I'm gonna bring this down. I want it to be subtle. And then you can see that the number of rays you can work with here. So get something that works for your image. I'll leave it like that, but I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. And then there's the length. You can see that it's stretching from the corner all the way down through the bottom of the image. So I'm gonna shorten those and be really subtle about it. And then bring the warmth up just a little bit. And that's all I'm gonna play with right now, but I do want to work with the number of rays still, because I feel like I want it to be right in that, right there in that area. I like that right there. And that's looking fairly realistic. All right, again, we're just gonna have some fun. The next thing I wanna do is I wanna add another filter, and I wanna use a texture overlay. So let's have some fun with that. So what that does is you can bring in, so I'm gonna load in a texture overlay. And so let's see here, on my desktop I have some, there it is, some fog. We're gonna bring that in right there, and you can see, let me close this filter catalog in, and you can see that the fog's a little bit overpowering there. So I'm really trying to create this mood with this, but you can dial it down with the amount here. And you can kind of pretend that it's early morning fog. So here's the image that I brought in. You can kind of zoom in and out. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom out so you don't see any of the image there. You can play with the positioning of the fog. We might want to put it more on the upper side of the image. I think that looks pretty good right now. I'm having some fun with this. Let's turn off what it looked like before and what it looks like now. Before and after. Voila. Yes, I can spend a lot more time on this image, and I would normally, but for now, in a pinch and showing you around Luminar, I think that's fun. So those are some fun creative tools that you can utilize. On to the next image. This is an image that I shot in West Virginia. It's a little peekaboo shot. I even have another one coming up. I'll show it to you right here. Different shot of the new River Gorge Bridge. I like this shot too, but this one was really overexposed in the highlights, and I really just want to replace the sky. And what you can do here is Luminar 3 has an easy way to replace the sky. And so what we're gonna do is add a layer, and we're gonna add new image layer, and we're gonna select a sky. So I'm gonna select this one right here of these clouds. And you'll see that Luminar puts it on top. And so what we need to do is select the little brush tool here and select gradient mask. And then we're gonna click at the top and then drag down. And we're gonna drag down through to about to the horizon of the forest there, as you can see right in this area. So a little bit past it. And so now you're probably looking at it and saying, well, Pablo, the clouds are sitting over the top of everything on the image. And you are right. So what we want to do now is go over here to normal right here under layers and hover over darken and or even multiply here. Now it's different depending on how light or dark your background is, but these two work well in this image, and you can see that I'm going to choose multiply. And that's really all you needed to do. That's it. I've done it. Yes, I can tweak it and work with the contrast and the shadows and the highlights and everything else there is in the develop module or tool in this program, but I really like what I have right now. Let me turn it off and let me turn it on. So it looks pretty good. Let me actually remove this layer mask and let's add in a different sky and see what that might look like. I haven't tried this yet, so let's go ahead and do the same thing. And let's try a little bit bluer sky. Might be a little dark for this, but let's give it a go. We're going to do the same thing. Now, what you can do on these as well is, since it puts it on the top layer at first, you can select any one of the looks down here and change it up. So maybe if I go to Essentials and I select something like, I don't know, maybe something like the Contrast Enhancer. That's a little too blue. Let's actually click out of there and go to Landscape. No, sorry. Let's go to Dramatic and see what options they have down here. Let's try Mystic. Okay, I'm happy with Mystic. Let's do the same thing. Go to the brush tool, go to Gradient Mask, click on the top here, drag it down through, and it's going to start applying that mask. And then let's go to Normal, Darken. Looks pretty good. Multiply. Looks even better. Okay, there you go. A new sky when the sky was blown out. Pretty cool, right? Actually, Luminar 4 does it even better from what I hear. So just chalk up some of the enhancements that I'm doing to the creative flow, the creative process. Yes, these are composite images. I'm not saying that I shot them in camera and got the right image, but essentially that's part of the artistic process in photography. I think early on, I didn't like that. I didn't like adding birds to scenes. I didn't like adding different skies to scenes or to images that I've taken. But I've learned to back off of that a little bit and have a little bit of fun and not be so against doing something like this, because I really do think it adds to your creativity and it's just a different art form. All right, let's take a look at one more image. This barn that I have on the screen here, I was trying to find a barn in West Virginia, a dilapidated barn, and I think I found one, but the sky again wasn't in my favor and I wanted a sunset shot. So let's make it a sunset shot. Let's have some fun with this. So what I want to do here is I'm going to go ahead and warm it up, the original image, with the Luminar Look under Landscape, and I'm clicking Warm Sunset. I'm going to go ahead and go up here to Layers and add a new image layer like I did before. I have this really cool sunset shot, and again it puts it on the top layer. I'm gonna do the same thing here. Is I'm gonna click on the brush on this layer and hit Gradient Mask, and then I'm gonna click at the top and then bring it right down through into the about the red part of the barn. Yeah, that looks good. Looks dramatic. All right. And like we did before, I'm going to go over here to Normal, and I'm going to look at Darken, not bad. And if I look at the Multiply, it's not bad. Yeah, I'm going to go to Multiply here and go ahead and leave it on Multiply. And then what we can do is go ahead and click on the brush tool and click the actual brush. Zoom in a little bit. You can see that the clouds are on here. Make sure that it's on Erase and start painting away the actual clouds that are on the barn. Obviously we can take a lot more time to do this, but for the sake of this video, I'm not going to take too much time. Again, we came down to the middle of this red here. Note that if you paint through the trees here, like in this area, it will take away the clouds that are behind it, so be careful there. You're going to have to decide what you want to do there. But nonetheless, it's giving us a pretty good idea of what this is going to look like. Let's bring it over here to this side. Paint back over here, off the barn there. Over here on the trees, just to make sure. I'm going to be careful in this area here. I'm just going to kind of go around those little spots in there. Try to pull back some of the clouds that are on top. The mask is on top of this area here. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Let me bring the image back. Whoa, dramatic. So this is what it looked like before, and this is what it looks like now. All right, a little over the top, totally get it, but I want to show you what you can actually do with Luminar 3 and the power of Luminar 3. Kind of a mix between Photoshop and Lightroom, and again, it's a one-time buy. So highly recommend this product, especially Luminar 4 that's out. I think I paid $60 or $70 for this about a year and a half ago or so, and I think Luminar 4 runs about $80. Again, they are not sponsoring this at all. I just am a big fan of different types of editing software, especially if you can't afford Adobe Creative Cloud, which is a monthly subscription. I think this is a great alternative to that, for sure. All right, that's gonna do it. But before I go, I did say I was gonna show you around a little bit. So let's come back over here to adding filters. So let's go to the top here. You have the essential block here, which has things like AI, sky enhancer, the develop module, structure, tone, vignettes, issue fixers such as dehaze, clarity. There's a foliage enhancer, so it'll enhance foliage, a sharpening tool, and then there's the creative block that we kind of did a couple things in, such as Sunrays and texture overlays. And then there's the professional block where you can dodge and burn, add curves, things of that nature. And then there's a utility block or pane that has things like adjustable gradient that I've used in the past, top and bottom lighting. And so it works a little differently than your normal Lightroom, but it has all the same features and it's super powerful. So those are all the filters. This workspace here, you can just clear it whenever you want. You can add a professional block in here, which is essentially your develop tool that you would see in Lightroom. Or you can go with things like quick and awesome, which is pretty cool. So down below here, you'll see accent AI filter, AI enhancer, the saturation and vibrant sliders, clarity, and the list goes on. So this is a really fun tool, a really fun piece of software to work with. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments down below if this is something you think you would purchase for yourself in editing in lieu of Lightroom or Photoshop. All right, guys. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. It means the world to me when you do. Thank you also to all of the people that are new to this channel in the last month. I've been overwhelmed with a lot of new subscribers and I'm overwhelmed in a good way. I'm so thankful. And I'm also thankful for all the people that have followed me from day one. So all of you collectively have my heart. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Like the video if you liked any part of it. Ring that bell to notify you of new videos when they come out every Monday and Thursday. All right, guys. Peace. And mic sync clap. Buenos dias. Buenos dias. Buenos dias. Buenos dias. Buenos dias. Back, Jack. Why can't I just do this right? Woo. Woo. Oh man, YouTubing ain't easy. Called Luminar 3. And oh my gosh. Bro, you are spectacular. You got this. Let's go. Flex it out. You can do it. This is how we do it.